guys? Am I mean? Am I a snob? Hi my loves, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, nice to meet you. My name is CJ. If you're not new, hey babes, welcome back. So from the title, you know what this video is about. This year 2022 was a lot. I have a lot of mixed feelings about the year. Early this year, I felt completely overwhelmed. It was a lot happening at the same time. But towards the ending of the year, I kind of felt relaxed. I'm not saying things were perfect, but I felt relaxed. Do you get what I mean? So 2022 came with a lot of things, but it showed me shege. It showed me a lot of shege. So yeah, I sat down yesterday to reflect on the year and think about every single month, what happened, you know, the pain, the happiness, every single thing. And I was able to write down things I learned, lessons I learned, you know, from this year. And I felt like I'm going to come here, sit down and discuss this with you guys because I don't know, you might find it helpful or it might resonate with you. So yeah, these are the lessons I learned from 2022. If this is something you like to watch, definitely keep on watching. So the first thing I learned this year was that the people closest to you have the power to hurt you the most. And I don't know why this was news for me this year because it makes sense, it's logical. But this year I got to you know, really feel it in a different part of my nerve, that the people that you love the most, people you trust the most, that is, and this can be your closest friends, your family, your spouse, your partner, you know, somebody who is really close to you, you know, they have the power to hurt you the most. And literally, like, just their words can make or break you. And in as much as we try to block out people's opinions and all of that, you know, when someone you care about sends a disapproval your way, it's going to really, really, really hurt you more than you think. You might be like, I don't really care, but deep down you care a lot. So yeah, I think that's number one lesson I learned. Second thing I learned is that life will always life. Now there's this quote I saw on IG, on Twitter actually, and it made complete sense to me. And it says, I have to read it: once a shege wants to shege, it doesn't care if another shege is currently shegeing, it will proceed with its own shege. That's a lot. What that means basically is, life does not care how many problems you're currently facing. If it is ready to bring another problem your way, it will do that without hesitation. You can have a health problem and be having like accommodation problem, and also be having like financial problem, and also be having like spiritual problem, and also be having like mental problem. All of them can be coming to you back to back to back to back. So it's like, once life wants to shake it, do you understand? It doesn't care like your situation. It's going to give it to you hot, back to back. You know, you have to be able to handle it. You have to be able to work under pressure. Life is pressure, my God. My guy, life is a lot of pressure. You know, when you say I can work under pressure, like, I feel like everybody can, because life is already a lot of pressure. You can be dealing with this one is coming. Your mommy is having problem, your daddy is having this one, your sister. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are, what you're doing, what you're going through. If problem wants to happen, it's going to happen. The third thing I learned this year, you have to know when to quit. This is particularly very difficult for me because this applies mostly when it comes to jobs. And, you know, knowing when to quit is a very vital part of living. Sometimes you might be doing something, giving it your all, you know, hoping that it's going to yield forth fruit, and you realize that you have to know when it's not what this is not going anywhere. This is not going to hurt my future in any form or manner. And this came to me, I know this can apply in any, you know, aspect of your life, but this came to me in, you know, in the aspect of career. I had to know when to quit. A lot of people kept telling me, you have to quit this job, because there was a time I was mentally drained from jobs. I was doing more than I could handle, and it was taking a toll on my mental health. I'm not the kind of person that knows how to complain. I'm the kind of staff that they can keep throwing problems at me, throwing, more things for me to do, and I know it's not something I'm supposed to do. It's not even within my job specifications, but I'll still continue doing it, and I'll keep taking, like, even if the basket is filled up, I'll get another basket, hold it, and keep trying to hold the two of them and keep working. And it was really affecting my mental health a lot. I had to sit down. Thank God for friends. I know why you're doing this, but it's time to quit. It's not beneficial to your career in the long run, and it's not beneficial to your mental health, which is also very, very important. So I think in life, you have to know when to quit. You have to know that is a very vital point. There's a diagram I saw that completely explains how you should handle things like this when it comes to career, knowing when to quit. I think I'll put it on the screen if I'm able to find it. But yeah, I think this year I had to learn, I said learning how to quit. Quitting something is very difficult for me, especially when it comes to jobs. But I can't sorosuke, I can't speak out. I can be oppressed in a place and I would not speak out because I think I can handle it and I'm patient enough to keep trying. But when it came to my career, I had to know when to quit. So yes, I learned how to quit this year. I think that sounds wrong. So the fourth thing I learned this year is other people's opinion of you is not your responsibility, okay? Now, I'm that type of person that if someone says something about me that I know is not true 100%, but the person has chosen to view me in that manner or see me in that way, I would take it upon myself to prove them wrong. And I have come to realize that is wrong, okay? It's very wrong. Stop trying to prove yourself to people. Their opinion is not your responsibility. You don't have to be worried about what they think, how they feel. It's not your business, okay? I'm the kind of person that, hey, this person says that she's a snob or she's mean. And I'm like, me? I'll literally call my friends and be like, guys, am I mean? Am I a snob? And they'll be like, wait, Ceejay, what's going on? And I would literally want to prove to that, like I would even walk up to the person and try to prove to the person that I am not what you think I am. Especially when I know it's not true, I start to feel like I owe it to you to show you that I'm not that type of person. And that is wrong. So other people's opinion of you, it is absolutely not your responsibility. You don't have to, especially when in this social media age where people can cook up stories off their brain, cook up editing just by small picture. They can tell where you're coming from, your future and all. Do not care. Learn. Every day I make a conscious effort to not make it my responsibility. The fifth thing I learned this year is that you have to focus on what you can control. Most times we as human beings, we always want to make sure we can solve everything at the same time. For me this year, there were so many things that were way out of my control. Way out of my control. I wanted to be in control. I craved that so much, and it made me lose focus on the things I could actually control, which was number one, YouTube. Number two, taking care of my mental health and making sure I'm available to work, like I'm in the right space to work. And I couldn't do that. So I learned, I think towards the end of the year, that's why I said mixed feelings this year. Towards the end of the year, I started getting that, I understood that, and I started focusing on the things I could control. And it's not easy. It's easier said than done, but it's something I am learning to do. And this happened, I got this, I felt this more than ever this year. So learn to focus on what you can control and leave the things that are beyond your control to just stay one side. Just leave them. The next thing I learned this year is that you have to find joy in the little things. At the beginning of this year, I wrote down a couple of things I wanted to achieve. And there was one major thing that was on that list, and that major thing was hitting 1K subscribers on YouTube, and there were other things in that list, right? But that number one was like priority. It was the biggest, it was the most important thing to me. But there were other things that were also important on that list. And guess what? The year continued, happening and progressed till we are currently in December. I think it was until October, sometime in October, I actually had to do like a U-turn, a 360. But prior to that, I was complaining. I was like, I won't say depressed, but I was sad AF. I was sad as hell. Like I was really sad. Like the fact that I was supposed to hit 1K subscribers and I was complaining to whoever cared to listen. I was sad. I felt so disappointed in myself, and I think it was October. I don't even know how I stumbled upon that note. I don't know what took my hand there that day, and I just went through it. And guess what? Out of, I think I wrote down about 5 things, 3 out of those 5 things were done. I was so focused on the big things, the big win, which was like hitting 1K subscribers, that I forgot to be thankful for the other things that God came through for me. And I did not even notice it. I didn't notice it till I sat down. Somehow I was able to, as if God directed me to that place, and I saw that note and I was like, oh my God, this is almost done. Do you understand? Even the 4th thing, as I'm speaking to you, is currently done, but it's more of a personal thing. Sorry guys, ignore that. But yeah, you have to find joy in the little wins. Don't focus on the big things alone. They are joy killers, big joy killers. Imagine how I would have ended the year so sad if I had not seen that note, and I would be like, hey, me, I have done all these things. God, thank you Jesus, thank you my sweet Father. But yeah, focus on the little wins as well. They matter a lot and they make you happy. The 7th thing I learned this year is that you have to be selfish. This is, I know it can come off somehow, but you have to be selfish. Yes, saying it in an extreme way, but you have to find time to do things for yourself. I am a people pleaser, and it happens a lot when it comes to work. It happens a lot when it comes to, even my life. It happens a lot, and I realized that I was giving too much of myself to people, and they were progressing, they are doing well, and I'm happy. For me, I need that time, I need that me time, I need that energy that I'm giving to other people. I need that energy, I need a little bit of that energy to be put inside me. So I feel like you have to know how to be selfish. You have to know when to say no. I want to do this for myself. I know in like workspaces, sometimes I've seen this joke somewhere in this HR type of content, and somebody was like that they can want to give you more jobs to take over for the weekend, and they want you to do some of the jobs you were not able to finish or they were not able to complete during the week, during the weekend. And that weekend is supposed to be your personal time. It's the time they're supposed to be for you. And because you're trying to make them happy or make other people pleased, you end up doing that for them, and then the weekend is gone and you don't have anything for yourself. You're not able to take that weekend time off for yourself. When the new week starts, you're going to be stressed, you're going to be mentally exhausted, and you're not going to be productive. So who does it really help? I'm hammering on these points because I want it to make more sense. If it does, please tell me in the comments. I had to start learning how to be selfish. Like, if Friday is my own, it's my own. Nothing you fit tell me, nothing you can tell me that'll make it your own. Except maybe in extreme cases where it's an emergency that somebody needs my help. But if Friday is my day, my off day, that Friday is my off day, I'm not doing nothing. Okay, so you have to learn how to be selfish. I think that's the best explanation. This one is long. Now the next thing I learned this year is that love happens in an unexpected way.
We found love in a hopeless place.
That's the only explanation I can give for it, really. Yeah, sometimes that love that you're dreaming of, that God when might not happen the way you think it's going to happen, but it doesn't mean it won't be beautiful. It happens in an unexpected way. The ninth thing I learned this year is that prayer is the key. Period, poo. Prayer is the key, okay? Say it with me. Prayer is the key. And I think that sums up like every other thing I wanted to say, which is like talking to God is very soothing. This year I had a lot of alone times. I had my friends, which is great, but I had a lot of alone moments where I would cry. I would just weep. I don't even think crying is the right term. I would just weep, and I would sit down and talk to God like I was talking to somebody like that was sitting down beside me. It felt so comforting. It really did. It felt like I was talking to my guy. Do you get? A lot of people might watch this and it might not make sense like that until you experience it, but it was just comforting to know that somebody was listening and you know he's going to do something about it, and in as much as it might not happen immediately, he's going to do something about it, and that made me happy. So yeah, prayer is the key. The next thing I learned is that addressing a situation does not mean the situation is going to change, or it doesn't mean it will help the situation. This one, it hits a particular nerve when this happened to me. So I'm the type of person that feels like if something is going on, you have to confront the situation, talk about it. When you talk about it, then the situation will not change. It will get better. You feel better. You feel somehow lighter. Actually, sometimes talking about it will make you feel even more devastated. You might feel worse. So yeah, I think sometime this year around March, April, I tried to address certain situations that I kept running away from. And I think I regretted actually doing it because I felt way worse. It did not help the situation at all. It did not make me feel better. And then I was like, okay. That thing of talking about it makes you feel lighter. It doesn't really apply all the time. Addressing the situation doesn't always help the situation, okay? Yeah, that's a lesson learned. Now, the 11th thing I learned is that you have to journal. Write down everything, every single thing, from your plans to your feelings to anything. I know writing might be a chore for some people because hand might pain you, but even if it's like typing it in your phone, write it down. Trust me, it doesn't have to be like anything dramatic. You can just buy a normal book and write, or you can write things in your notes on Apple or anywhere. Really, just journal, write down things, okay? You like it. I think you've heard this from everybody and their mom, but just do it. Just do it. That thing that you've been wanting to do that is scaring you, and do it, okay? Do it. Another thing I learned this year is that things will always fall into place. The way this year started is not the way the year is ending, and somehow everything has fallen into place. And in as much as it's not perfect, I'm not saying like my life is now without any drama whatsoever, but some things have made more sense than it did earlier this year. So yeah, things will always fall into place. Your comfort zone will not pay you. This one is for you. Yes, you sitting down looking at me right now. This one is for you. Your comfort zone would not pay you at all. I've come to realize that I've been in my comfort zone for way too long. I love my comfort zone because it's easy. It's that place that you're just comfortable. But the comfort zone will not pay you. For you to actually become that person you envision yourself to be, have that money that you want in your bank account, you have to leave your comfort zone. Whatever that means to you, you just have to do it. Your comfort zone cannot pay you. You have to step out of your comfort zone to be able to achieve anything, any single thing. So yeah, I learned that. And the next thing I learned is that you have to try different skills, and also you should do what you love. Now, I didn't learn this personally. I learned this from my friends, Divine and Noni. So I got to see how they kept trying things, and also how things that they were naturally good at and felt like it wasn't important, when they applied it into the career space, it's like made them boom. Do you understand? I think that's the best way for me to explain it. If you don't have anything you particularly love doing, you might love cooking and you're like, what can cooking do for me, Kwan? I cannot do so much, but you never can tell. You might just, that might be a skill that you're really good at, and you've not really turned the skill into a money-making machine. And you'd be surprised what would happen when you actually do that. So yeah, that's something that I learned this year. And you should also try different things. If you don't have anything you love and you're still trying to figure out, oh, what do I like doing? You can try different things, and eventually you'll find something that you like doing. 16th thing I learned this year is that you have to reduce your expectations of people. I have a lot of expectations when it comes to human beings. Like, I expect a certain thing from a person. When they don't do it, I get really sad, really sad and disappointed. And the main problem is, why are you even expecting them to do something like that? So I had to learn that you have to reduce your expectations, of people. Don't expect too much from these people. Like, you might think some people have manners, you might think some people have common sense, but like they say, common sense is not really common. Don't expect so that when people behave in a certain form or manner, you're not too shocked and too disappointed and too heartbroken. You're like, oh well, okay, I see. Reduce your expectations, and I'm saying don't expect nothing from people. Nothing. Another thing I learned this year is, do not belittle yourself to fit other people's standards. I said what I said. Do not belittle yourself to fit other people's standards. You see, people have standards for people. Sometimes I do it too. I think this happens a lot with content creators, influencers. Because social media is their way of making money, and you tend to put out your life on social media. Now people start to question your life. You living a good life, not even good though, a somewhat healthy, manageable life in this terrible Nigeria is flashy and fake and doing too much, and the person is probably fake or has this or doing something bad or evil. And then you find people trying to now be conservative just so that they can make those people not to say those things. Do you understand? Do not belittle yourself. See, after belittling yourself, they will still set another standard for you, and you will keep trying to live up to their standards. Don't bother about it. The next thing I learned this year is that people that don't understand your value or worth will never do, even if you die on the cross of Calvary for them. Some people will never see how important you are. This can be in a relationship, this can be in friendships, this can be in your career space, it can be anywhere. Some people will never see how important, and the things that, you can be doing so much for somebody. That thing can be painful. You can be doing so much for somebody, putting in your all, doing so much to make that person happy, and the person can never understand it. The person doesn't just have the brain or the person cannot just comprehend it. The person doesn't see it. They don't see the value you bring. They don't see it. Stop trying to make them see it. Stop trying. The same way no one see, okay? Stop trying to make people see your worth. Yeah. Now, the 19th thing I learned this year is that you have to be disciplined and consistent. This is something I learn every year. Oh, I actually know, but yeah, I think I got reminded of it this year, because in the areas where I was disciplined and consistent, I got results, and the areas where I wasn't, I did not get any results. It's not rocket science. I wasn't consistent as I would want on YouTube, and I didn't get the results I wanted. And then I was consistent in my work, like my normal career. I need to rephrase that. What did I just say? Which normal career? This is my career. What girl? Who are you talking to? This is my career, sorry. When I did become consistent and disciplined in other aspects, I saw results. My guys, the 20th thing I learned this year is that women are their own problem. That's all I'm going to say about it. Women are their own problem. All these women support women. Now from out. Women are their own problem. Like, the people that badmouth their fellow women, the people that badmouth women more, if you go through the comments or go through the people doing it, you realize that most of them are women. Women are not really strong supporters of themselves. I feel like they find, I don't know how to describe it, but women are their own problem, I think. Being a woman, sometimes I'm always like, I hope I'm not like this. I hope, because some behaviors I'll see, I'll be like, this is yeah. The next thing I learned is that you have to take care of you. You are important, you are needed, you are the most important aspect of your life. Without you, nothing can work. So you have to take care of yourself mentally, spiritually, physically. Give yourself a lot of time and love. Taking care of you doesn't necessarily mean you have to spend money on yourself or like, buy fine things. That one safety. I like that. So taking care of yourself can be sitting down maybe 1 or 2 hours in a day to just think about, aspects of your life you like to improve on. Maybe it might be exercising, it might be eating well, it might be sleeping well, it might be not missing meals, it might even be drinking water more. Do you understand? Drinking water often. This year I did take care of myself, but at some point I was too preoccupied with my life problems that I did not take care of myself, and I am glad that I was able to come back to factory reset and I started doing that. The last but not the least lesson I learned this year is that you have to speak less and listen more. For someone like me who actually likes to talk, talking is my business. I actually love to talk. I tend to say more than I should sometimes. So this year I had to learn it the hard way that if you're in a gathering or if you're in a place, if you're somewhere, even if it's just with your friends, sometimes you just have to know when to just listen and then say less, because you might end up saying things that you did not want to say. I'm now more of a listener. Like, I'm learning to now sit down and listen, and then I would just maybe drop like 2 cents. I like that mystery. That thing makes people look mysterious. Because I'm the bubbly child, I would come and want to engage with you. I realized that thing brings a lot of disrespect, because you might end up saying, because you're not thinking and talking, you end up saying a lot of rubbish, things that are not necessary. And then it also breeds disrespect. It breeds a lot of disrespect because you talk a lot, you talk too much. When you sit down and you listen to people, when you finally drop your 2 cents, people will listen to it. Even if you're talking rubbish, they'll be like, this guy, your head did there, your head no did there, my dear. I think this, solidifies, this cements and plasters everything I learned this year. And yeah, it was a good year. It was a good year. We give glory to God. I hope this video was interesting to you. I feel like I spoke a whole lot, but I hope there were points that you were able to resonate with and they were relatable to you as well. If you did, leave it in the comments. I'd like to know which one. And if there's something that, like things you also learned this year, tell me things you learned this year. I'd like to read and know how your 2022 went. In fact, how did your 2022 go? Okay, that is the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a big thumbs up. Share this video with your friends so that they can get to see the kind of videos you are enjoying. And till I see you guys in my next video, don't forget to tell a friend, tell another friend, to tell somebody to do what? To subscribe. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.